Hi everyone, this is week 3, lesson 3 of unit 2 of the middle school ENL Standalone curriculum. So unit 2, lesson 3.3. To start, teachers, to direct your attention to the planning map right here that is hyperlinked. Each week the students are working towards their culminating project, your story, our story. So just something to keep in mind as you plan and implement these lessons. Moving on. Today, say a pretty similar structure to previous days this week. Opening and do now routine, before reading activity, getting into the text, and after the reading activity, and closing and connecting. Today, during closing and connecting, it's very important that students engage with the connect to the text questions, as they'll be important for the lessons moving forward, as well as answering the essential question for the week. Some tech considerations for this lesson. So the opening and do now, as well as the before reading possible sentences, will be video led. Opening and do now will have possible responses. Before reading possible sentences will not, as the students should not see the answers to that until after the reading. Once we get to the text, students and teachers will work together on the best way to engage with that text. Possibly after that reviewing the before reading sentences, and then the text rendering discussion. If you're doing this in a virtual forum, a good way to do this might be to put the order that you want students to speak in the chat, and then the closing and connecting questions. So any questions that you want to do plus the connect to the text. The reading is available in a Google document on TeachHub, but you can also use things like Kami, markup, and other PDF markup tools, as the one linked in this presentation is a PDF. You can also assign this to students in Google Classroom. The student-facing slides is a Google Slides. You might also opt to create a Google document to write out all of the writing that they'll produce throughout this lesson as a sort of guided notes. All right, let's get into it. Let's start our lesson together. All right, so week 3, day 3. So our essential question that we've been working with this week: how do families contribute to a community? How do families contribute to a community? The text we will be reading today is called A Difficult Time for the Family. It's linked right here, as well as on the slide where we start with the text. And this is an informational text. Would anyone read the objectives out loud? Thank you. So our objectives for today are to read closely and identify supporting details and ideas, and to interpret words and phrases as they are used in a text. So we have an image here. So this is the Gumpert's family's parlor, or their living room. And as we can see down here, this is from the 1870s. So this is the same family, the Gumpert's family, that we've been looking at this week. So looking at the image here, what do you see? What do you think? And what do you wonder? There's some sentence starters down here to help you out with what you see, think, and wonder. Go ahead and pause the video now and write those sentences wherever your teacher would like you to write them. Okay. So here is a closer look at the picture. So we have some chairs here, a rocking chair over here, some windows. This looks like a fireplace, a mirror. There's wallpaper around here, some pictures, a shelf. So if you need a couple of more seconds to write out your sentences, or you would like to edit them in any way now that you see the picture a little bit closer, please take a few seconds to do that. pause the video here if you need to. All right. So what do we see? When I looked at this picture, in the image, I see furniture. So chairs, tables, shelves, those are all examples of furniture. I think that the family sits here sometimes. So I saw that there's a lot of chairs, so I thought that the family probably sits here together. And lastly, I wonder if there's enough space for all of them to sit together. So I wonder if the whole Gumpert's family can sit here together. Make sure that you have your sentences written down on your paper or your document for this lesson. Great job, let's keep going. So before we start reading, there is some sentences that we are going to try to figure out the missing word. So we have some words down here. If you're confused about what any of these words mean, you can click on those blue links to find the definition. So, Julius deserted the family, and Natalie needed to figure out how to run the house and make enough blank to buy what they needed to live. Pause the video here and put the word that is missing here. Is it laundry, money, homemade, or fabric? All right, number 2. Maybe her neighbors knew of Natalie's situation and offered her blank meals or to take a few pieces of her blank to wash while they did their own. So is that laundry, money, homemade, or fabric? There's 2 words that are going to fit in here. So pause the video now and fill those in. All right, last one. Perhaps during this difficult time, she watched her daughters play together with dolls she made from blank, scraps, and felt inspired to keep working towards a more hopeful future. So pause the video here and fill in the word that fits in that spot right there. All right, so you will go through the answers to this with your teacher after you finish the reading. But can anyone read the set the purpose out loud for us before we start the reading? All right, awesome. We will read the text closely to further interpret words and phrases and how they impact our understanding of the Gumpert's family's experiences. Some vocabulary we might encounter will be contribute and economy. You can click on those links there if you need any help with accessing those words. All right, now it's time to get into the text. So there's a recording right here and a PDF version of the text right here. Please check with your teachers where the text is located for you. You'll respond to the guiding questions in the text and keep these discussion questions in mind. After reading the text, you'll do some discussion rounds with some words and phrases from the text. And finally, you will close your lesson with some wrap-up questions. So especially keep these in mind. Do you think that life is easier today or in the 1870s? And draft 2 questions for the person you're interviewing about their hobbies and interests when they were your age. All right, now it's time to get into the text.